Tax. If we are to discuss tax, unfortunately I said I'm not here to discuss politics, but the dirty tax in Nigeria, the regimes, and the ones we have seen lately, is enough a crime that has actually pushed Nigeria to the ditch that will find it difficult to come out from. Lies were told, deceits were implied. There is a game called tax. Actual tax collected, tax remitted, tax submitted, tax known to Nigerians, therefore, but people don't understand. And if I may say, with all sense of humility, from this particular government my brother has spoken about, if we are to discuss tax alone from 2015 to date, it is a heavy burden to listen, not even to chew, to listen alone. But such people are elder statesmen. They have ruined Nigeria, they have ruined the economy, and they still believe they own it. This country should not, under any guise, be seen to be telling lies to people, to cheat the people. If I say I'm going to do B, C, D, even on oath, I will still have to sign before the people. And if within indicators and time given, such things cannot be seen to be done. Such government should be seen to be short-lived. There are countries who have attained higher points, and once they begin to fail, they leave, and early elections are called. It is about time we become serious because of who we are as Nigerians. We as Nigerians, with all sense of humility, are yet to know who we are. Knowing what we have had before, and knowing what we knew, and knowing the damage has been done to Nigeria and Nigerians, and then with the elites being fooled every day. Lies are told in the morning, literatures are sent, papers carry it, television and radios echo it. And before you know it, people get brainwashed. You are kept away from facts. That cannot be Nigeria, and that cannot be an environment where a typical Nigerian is qualified, quantified, and valued as an intellect at any level within the international scene. In 1972, it was agreed that Nigeria should not, under any guise, be allowed to grow. I said this yesterday. Many leaders called me until they found these secret documents. And I'm going to talk in this direction, culminating to the games going on even now. And I am concerned talking now simply because we are inching into another phase of a program that will face this country in a hard way. In the 70s, it was agreed this country of ours should not grow. What happened in the 70s? The discovery of oil and gas. I will be very brief, deliberately, to be able to deliver the messages I want to deliver. Tire production, textile industries, and paper mills were the pride of Nigeria, generating revenue, job opportunities, competing with any elsewhere. But the moment oil and gas began to flourish, and then when they introduced something called domestic dirty oil politics in Nigeria, and when those who introduced it began to now siphon and make sense against the country's revenue, also adopted yet another formula called international dirty oil politics. Taking from source, taking away from onshore, offshore, to destinations around the world, giving nothing to Nigeria. Then they realized that Nigeria, by her growing population, as at that time, is a big market. And one of the next things to do is to deny Nigeria power. What did they do? They also introduced something called transformer dirty oil politics. The transformers, district transformers you see, was what attacked the labor, was what made labor to have numerous widows, numerous orphans. Ministry of power was used. Your budget was determined. What were they doing? Some specific transformers, district, were brought. And let me tell you what was happening. And labor didn't understand. You went on numerous strikes. You fought and fought, and industries were failing because of lack of power. Alternatives were brought, and the owners were running at loss. What were they doing with transformers? If, for example, in this district, a transformer is brought, What they do is to take at a particular time near to industries. They take foams and copper wires and line it up in the night and put on the transformer and call on the attention of people. Once the copper wire becomes too hot, it burns the foams inside, and transformer is made to trip when there is overload or fire. And when the fire becomes heavy, the smoke must escape. It will bolt and it will trip off. Once it trips off, the industrial workers' labor, the neighborhood people who are around will be witnesses to the tripping off of the transformer. But to them, it was called transformer blowing. It was well known to the labor in Nigeria. They knew it as transformer blowing. Once it blows, it stays. The officials from the ministry will take it away only to swap it, but contracts are issued for yet another one. In the meantime, nothing happened to the transformer. But that industry will not work. The labor union will sit doing nothing. The owner is thinking on profit making. He is thinking on the alternative, which is gas, and it costs him more, affecting the economy. That trend continues in the 70s. Industries began to shut down. It was deliberate so that the product from outside Nigeria can have its way into Nigeria, competing with the owners in Nigeria, competing with the local fabrics that we are supposed to utilize. With the continuation of this trend, Nigeria hadn't, as at that time, what is called economic intelligence for Nigeria. We were depending on outside literature, outside information, and those who were destroying us were the same people supplying the same transformers. That continued to early 80s when another type of transformer was introduced. It now come to be in circulation at higher cost with something called cyst. At intermittent breaks, gas and energy were escaping through it. That is to say, you will never have enough energy to run your industries. Till this moment, you have them all littered around Nigeria. The understanding here is, who are the owners of these transformers? Who shipped them in? How many of the labor leaders knew about this game? How did you lose your industries? How come you don't have any to show? How come even when you lost them, people are privatizing them and taking out equipment and selling them at cheaper rates? How come you have so many people very poor within the labor who used to tell you to go on strike? Sit back, reflect, let the leadership think. At what time did you go on strike and for what? For the common good of the last poor person in labor, or for personal interest in having collision with governments? Military or civil, I don't want to know. Friction between leaders and labor and those in power or the leadership were another thing entirely. All I know was my own assignment was keep Nigeria safe and afloat, and it was. Now, I'm sure before I came, most of the problems bedeviling the labor were known or must have been mentioned, and you know much better than I do. But some of the ones I talked about was the issue of having market for the product of our industry, the textile industry. The textile industry was never protected, even then. Even now, with all the meetings you have done, I don't think there is any government that has the capacity to protect because of something called negotiation or confrontation in international trade. It's a formula that only China succeeded in overcoming that lately. China decided to go on negotiation because they were weak then. Now that they are the world market, they are into confrontation where negotiation cannot hold. The question is, what is this doctrine in Nigeria's trade? What is this doctrine between investors and the government of the day? What has labor done between the issue of understanding, negotiation, and confrontation in international trade with the sole view of protecting what we have? The fact that people urge to come to power is another thing entirely. Knowing what to do with the power to the people timely is all that matters. Not wasting time. So here there is another burden, the burden of competition. They cannot compete. The local industries, the labor are providing labor services, but they can't compete with the international market because they do not have what it takes. In Nigeria, and only in Nigeria, hear this. When you have an institution, it is not normal for you to allow it to run on itself. It will be killed because it was agreed in 1972. When you create a policy to protect people, to service the people, to service this country is not enough. You also must create protective measures to make sure that this policy in itself runs through and succeeds. Otherwise, the two will amount to nothing in the shortest time possible. This has presented itself. We have had numerous governments with lofty ideas, lofty policies. When you, in retrospect, turn to look, it is a sorry sight. And that's why we are where we are. This country is rich. I tell you, part of the pains we have is the fact that rich as Nigeria, but poor among the poorest as Nigeria is physically identified. What is the problem? Deficit of leadership at all levels. Inclusive trade union with all sense of humility. You see all the years from 70s till this moment, what is the name of that bank or those banks that are labor-oriented, that are industrial protective, that are ready to give investment with the dreams of the labor in Nigeria, outside Nigeria? In Nigeria, what are the name of those banks who worked and are working with the labor in that dream? None. What are the name of these banks outside Nigeria from the international labor support that are working with the labor and working with the textile industry? What are their names? None. There is a game, and that's all I want you to understand. They want you to work. You have the knowledge, but you don't have the support. How can you work? It's just a dream. The way budget is prepared so that they take your resources, the way policies are created and given to those in power to just do it blindly so that they can support them. I give you two examples, and the past speaker, please take note of this. You served in Babangida's government. When there is a military government in place, it is coup that brought them to power. What you may not know is that there are international communities involved. There are Nigerians involved, contractors and civilians involved. There are some notable civil servants involved. When the government is formed, the government is not independent. Concept or policies are sold, and the government is told to carry them out as part of agreements. But the more the friction, the better. And it is when you are fighting that you lose your resources. And I'll give you an example. In 1995, the need to look for resources to run African states became an issue. Nigeria was more or less totally bankrupt. The need to run Nigeria became an issue. Salary payment was difficult. Then Libyan government, along with Germany, decided to utilize a satellite from a private satellite company that has shares of government of Germany in it. They discovered uranium in abundance and in high quality, well spread in Niger. Out of curiosity, that leader and other leaders decided to say, scratch part of Nigeria and let's take a look. They were shocked with what they discovered. In Northeast, they discovered a portion. And that portion, in part of Zambeza, leading to Lake Chad. What was deposited there, this is not hearsay. I was in Libya, I was in attendance, along with Nigeria's ambassador, two of us allowed. Then he was later told to go, and I was left alone, along with the Libyan leader and the German company and the owners of the satellite. What was kept there was capable of producing 10 Dubais. 1996, you can quote me in the eyes of this world, Mustapha said so. I'm not into rhetorics. I love this country. I stand for this country. We are already targeted and hated by numerous forces. But if that is what they should do for us rendering service to Nigeria, then definitely they have not started. What we discovered at that material time was a shocker. So I asked questions, as if I didn't understood what they were saying. The Libyan leader then, may so rest in peace, said, and I quote, "I mean, what is in this place is enough for you to produce 10 Dubais, 1996. The product of this satellite was brought to Nigerian head of state by me. I brought the 2 metallic boxes. Where is it? Who took it? What happened? Where is the money?" Now hold on. What might interest you is what I'm going to say. Nigeria is poor. Your industries are dead. But hear this. 1999, November 1st, I was in prison. They came to meet me in prison. And they asked me numerous questions on the way we were managing some certain things about Nigeria. I wouldn't want to mention. They mentioned some names and commanders they required to do some certain jobs for them. But the question I asked is, was it for Nigeria? At the end of the day, to cut the story short, is to tell you that Boko Haram was a calculated game. No, I'm begging you, see, I want us to listen with patriotism as Nigerians, because when hopelessness confronts a person who is thirsty, unknown to him, he is standing on an oasis. He is dying of thirsty. He is looking for water and busy praying. But the senses to dig the water and then come back alive is the problem of Nigeria. You are rich, you have it, you are scavenging for it. Most unfortunately, people might not tell you this, I am telling you. I'm ready to be accused, abused, it doesn't matter. I am here. Precious stone has been what they have been taking. Boko Haram were our sons and daughters given a wrong indoctrination. Taking opium from Afghanistan, the hashish in the world, mixing same wood, a certain chemical. When they dip a date in it, and then after 4 hours, whosoever takes it becomes a robot. You are totally robotic. You will respond to orders. You will not feel pain. You will not think. You will not reason. They kill numerous soldiers, many widows in barracks, many orphans littered all over, many refugees scattered around Nigeria. Is labor aware? Keep that aside. It's the social ills created for Nigeria and Nigerians. What you may ask yourself is, how much of this real stone have they taken in 23 years? What has it contributed to Nigeria's growth? Did they build one single textile with the money? Who are the Nigerians collabing with their external factors? When did it start and how many regimes work with them? Can you even quantify the number of officers, soldiers killed, traditional rulers? Can you quantify the friction created between Muslims and Christians? When a bomb is lodged in a church, they will quickly write in the paper the next day, it was Mosque A that did it, and vice versa. They bomb the mosque and blame the church. It's not true. It's a game. So that when you fight yourself, when confusion keeps you aside, they are busy taking what you have. But you sit down. You see, you sit down and look at newspapers and you believe in it. No, there are numerous respected journalists who are highly patriotic, who are highly respected. There are many of them I can fight for with my blood. But they are poor. They are professionals. They don't have money. They have to write what they are told to write. They need job. Who is fighting for them? Since Boko Haram started, at one point in time you had satellite. But there was a story that your satellite disappeared. Because if the satellite were to be around, It would have given locations to your security. They would have seen and known and identify and arrest numerous participants that are taking your precious stones. And some notable names in Nigeria would have been mentioned. Suddenly there was a story, your satellite disappeared. The most disheartening story that only kindergarten children can accept. I tell you with all sense of humility, we investigated that, not in Nigeria. We went to numerous countries to know the game being played against Nigeria. At our own cost, taking risks to do so. What we have discovered is a shame, monumental shame before man and before our Creator. In the time to come, you will understand, because we'll address Nigeria, and it doesn't matter whose toes we stepped on. We will educate Nigeria. Now, most of you here have your telephones in your hands. Listen carefully. Labour is poor, agreed. Nigeria is poor, agreed. Most of you have telephones here. Google as I talk. How much is a kilogram of rhodium in international market today? Kaduna, where you have most of your industries then, the best four, the pride of all, were in Kaduna yesterday. But how much rhodium do you have in Kaduna? And how much is it per kilogram? Meaning a container is enough. Anyway, I have 2 minutes to go, but a container, a kilogram, hold on, a kilogram of it in world market today is either 440 something thousand per small kilogram. They are taking it in containers, in hundreds of containers. They find their way to the ports. They go into the international market. That is to say, if Labour can agree with the federal government, take 10 containers, you will be the richest rich, you will have your industries, you will have your market, you will have your dreams attained, your children will have all it takes, you will live well. Northwest, you are from Kwara, you are from a very rich state. At the surface, you might not know. The quantity of rhodium, lithium, and gold in Kwara is enough for Nigeria. Do we know? Are we aware? Why should we be borrowing when you have too much money? How can, what spells, all I ask before I sit down, 2022 budget, if we study it carefully, the meaning of 2022 budget to a country bedeviled with insecurity worse as it is today, with the challenges and the hopes of all Nigerians, from babies to the oldest person in Nigeria, 2022 budget means hopelessness. The next president is to get it implemented. And if the next president doesn't have the formulas we have, Nigeria will be doomed. And I want to be quoted as saying so. The meaning here is that if you do not know how to generate wealth from within, if you don't know how to generate wealth from outside, if you succumb to fear, or if you have leaders who are busy right now going to the same people who have ruined Nigeria, going to sell themselves as their candidates to provide leadership for Nigeria 2023, there is no bigger threat than that. I am not talking to nobody. I'm talking to God Almighty, to see our hearts, to see our future, and to guide us. I wish, I'm respecting the 2 minutes given to me, I'm sorry. I wish and pray most sincerely that we will be scientific in what we see, what we hear, what we read, and what we do. And I pray one thing that is missing with Nigerians at all classes, or of all classes of Nigerians, is that unison. Sentiments, lies telling has nothing to do with our progress. The truth, fear of God, love of one another, fictitious stories have no meaning to Nigeria. Unity and love has everything. We have all it takes to be. God bless you. God bless you.
2027 elections. Tinubu will not willingly allow or encourage free and fair elections. If anything to go by, you have the APC primaries, you have the new methods of counting that they have invented. So if there's anything to go by the APC primaries. Go by his statements of grabbing it, snatching it, and running away with it. Willingly, he will not allow free and fair elections, and he will not encourage it. And I am not saying this to discourage you. Yes, I'm saying it so you can be aware. And also be aware that 2027, regardless of what Tinubu or the APC might want or plan, the 2027 election will be free and fair. Not because of APC, not because of Tinubu, not because of INEC, not because of judiciary, not because of security agencies, but because of a parallel vote tabulation platform. Vote Watch, working with volunteers as polling unit marshals across all the polling units in Nigeria. With Vote Watch and polling unit marshal, we tie the hands of INEC, the hands of Tinubu, the hands of APC, the hands of security agencies, the hands of the judiciary. We tie their hands and we make rigging impossible, regardless of who wants to rig. With Vote Watch, we will get real-time electronic transmission of polling unit results directly from the polling unit in real time. With Vote Watch, we get something even better than real-time transmission. We will get real-time collation, meaning as the results are coming from the polling units, we are seeing the tally automatically. If election finish by 3 o'clock and they process the results, they count, they fill in the form EC8A, the party agent sign, the police and security agency sign. Once that form EC8A is processed, at that moment, as INEC is using their beavers to snap the form EC8A to upload to IREV, our PU marshals, as polling unit voters, which is allowed, are using their phone to take a picture of the same form EC8A to upload to the Vote Watch platform. But there's something even better that Vote Watch can do that IREV cannot do. IREV does not collate, but Vote Watch collates. And it doesn't just only collate, it collates in real time. So you see that collation gap where they will take the results, the original from EC8A, from the polling unit, and now go to the registration area, the ward, to go and do collation. That is where the abracadabra starts. So that's where party votes either become fat or lean overnight. No longer will be possible to do such rigging in the collation gap, starting from either the ward, the local government, the state, up to the national, if we have the result already from the polling unit on the Vote Watch app, there for the whole world to see. You see, this is a very wonderful solution. It's called parallel vote tabulation. It is allowed. It's very legal. We are not replacing INEC. We are not declaring winners. It is well within our rights as voters to monitor our vote after we vote and to report our votes. What we are doing is what political parties are supposed to be doing in their situation room. But for some strange reasons, they don't think to do it, and they don't do it robustly enough. So we, the people, we use our people power. We use our office, the highest office in the land, the office of the citizen, to come up and drive this solution by ourselves. That's what we're doing with Vote Watch. So that 2027 will be a reflection of the wills and desires and aspirations of the people. There is a rise in godfatherism. Wike and Tinubu have taken godfatherism to a great height. It is now Baba Sokpe crazy. Baba Sokwe politics. Baba talk say, you heard what Desmond Elliot said, that when they gave him the impeachment notice to sign, he thought it was from Tinubu. Baba Sokwe, Baba talk say, not what a full-grown man who is a legislator, not what he thinks, but what he thinks the Godfather wants. And you see how he started trying to beg for the forgiveness of his Godfather, because he feels that it's only the Godfather that can bring him back to the State House of Assembly. And unfortunately, as it is right now, it's only the Godfather. They have kicked him out. That is a dangerous trend of godfatherism in Nigeria that we must tackle. Many of you are mocking him, saying, oh, is it? Yes, mock him. Whatever he got, he deserved. But on the flip side, what damage is godfatherism doing to Nigeria? So long as politicians like Fubara, politicians like Desmond Elliot, politicians like Ben Ayade, so long as these politicians see or even think that the only way they get back into office is by the support of godfathers, Nigeria is dead and buried. Things will never get better. Because when they get into office, their only loyalty will be to the godfathers. If we want them to be loyal, if we want our leaders to be loyal to the people, then we must make sure that it is the people that bring them into office. That is why I cannot emphasize the importance of Vote Watch enough. The link is in the description of this video. www.votewatch.pro. Simple. You can use any browser, Chrome browser, Phoenix browser, Safari browser, on your phone, your desktop, your laptop. You can use it. Just type in www.votewatch.pro into the address bar. Click enter to take you to the platform. There you will see the overview. But then you will see another button where it says sign up to be able to become a PU Marshal. Click that sign up button. It will take you to the registration page. Enter your name, enter your email, enter your state, enter your local government. In the place for ward and for polling unit, click any available one. Don't worry. All the other things in the background we will fine-tune to put you in the right polling unit as a PU Marshal. Remember, there are going to be 3 PU Marshals per polling unit. And none of the 3 polling unit Marshals will know who the other 2 polling unit Marshals are for that polling unit. We are doing this because we know that some polling unit Marshal can be compromised. And we are doing this to make sure that none of them are compromised. We are not using information from one polling unit. We are using from multiple. And the reason for this is simple. We have seen where collation agents of political parties are compromised on election day. And we have built a safeguard into the Vote Watch platform to prevent and guard against this. So once you enter all of those details, click sign up, you sign in, and then you'll be able to be a PU Marshal once we approve your request. It's as simple as that. Who would have thought that a solution to stop rigging of election in Nigeria would be this simple? It will be this safe because you work in ghost mode, in stealth mode. Nobody will know what you're doing, but yet you are doing so much that nobody can rig. So if you're in Nigeria that loves Nigeria, you want Nigeria to change, please check the description. There's a link in there. If you're a Nigerian that already is benefiting from this in very good way, I am not going to advise you to change the system. I know you won't want to reform yourself out of power. So this message is not for you. It is for you. If in all this abundance you are living in squalor, no jobs, high cost of living, insecurity, poor roads infrastructure, poor health care, poor education, weak naira, so much corruption. If we want a better Nigeria, then you will subscribe to this. if you want credible leaders to come out, then you will subscribe to this. This is actually very, very, very important. God bless you as you subscribe, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.